Jake's POV. A dome. That's how I would have described it from afar. It was a little dome made of metal, wood, and stone bars, all interconnected, like a child's toy in a playground. It was just a little ways outside of the city's walls. From a distance, 50 meters in the sky and kilometers away, it looked small, but close up it was much taller and wider than I'd expected. "Fly there," Suma instructed, gesturing towards the dome. "What is it?" I asked. "An inspection point. We need to go through it before entering the city. My traveling group did this on our previous trip here." "What happens if we don't pass the inspection?" I asked. "According to what I was told last time, we die." "What?" "They are not the city's guards. This inspection point is operated exclusively by royal mages, the Queen's Guard. If they deem us a threat, they will kill us." "That's crazy," I said. The dome's top had several holes built into it, and we entered through one. Landing on the ground, I noticed we were surrounded by at least a dozen Nume. 5 of them were mounted on a variety of tough-looking familiars. Now, with dozens of eyes watching and surrounding me and the others, I still thought it was crazy. "State your business," one of the Nume ordered. "We are here to enter Ambros Ampera and seek an audience with Her Majesty, Queen Ampera," Suma said, and turned to me. "Jake, the documents?" "Ah, yeah," I said, and pulled from one of the pouches I strapped to my bike, which I ended up naming Chariot, several wood tablets with mannerless runes engraved on them. Holding them out, the Nume used magic to draw them to him and examined them intensely. "You seek an audience with Her Majesty? For what purpose?" the Nume asked. I could feel Suma's nervousness for our connection, and it was not well hidden outside of it at all either. When she spoke, her voice crackled at first, and the feathers on her neck and chest were pressed flat against her body. "We seek to end our contracted time within her royal military. We have discussed this with her before, and have come to accept an offer she made us during our last visit." "Ah, yes, I remember the two of you. About 4 or 5 months ago, you had a meeting with Queen Ampera," the Nume said. "Yes, that is correct." The Nume's eyes met mine. "If I am not mistaken, that meeting ended with many dead Nume, including court mages." Yes, I said hesitantly. "Discussion," the Nume said simply, and one by one all of their eyes began to glow. For what felt like an eternity, but was probably just a minute or two, everything was deadly quiet. "You will be allowed to proceed, and we will inform the Queen of your arrival and intention. But while you are in the city, you will be closely monitored," he said, and returned the tablets with magic. I took them from the air and placed them back into the pouches. "We understand," Suma said, and bowed. With that, we flew out of the dome, alive but much sweatier. At least I was, anyway. Getting through the next inspection point was much easier. All they did was check our documents, then send us on our way. No questions, not even an inspection, despite the name. None that I could see, anyway. Although Chariot did turn a few heads as we landed and took off again. Once inside, Seal split off from the rest of the group, going to see his son. We made plans to meet up again tomorrow at noon to meet his son. Suma also suggested that Luna and I go explore the city, while she searched for a place we could stay. "I could help you," Luna said. "No, it will be fine. I can contact Jake as soon as I find somewhere and then summon him to me. If he holds on to you when I do that, then you will come with him," she said. "I would rather help you search," Luna protested. "Are you certain? It would be much more interesting to explore the city with Jake." "I am," Luna said. Suma relented and they flew off, leaving me with some time to myself. I decided to search for some food and ended up flying around on Chariot for a while. It was pretty nice, but I had to make sure not to fly too high, because Suma said flying higher than the city's walls was illegal. At the center of the city was a gargantuan tree that made up the castle. Since it was so big, most of the city was shaded by its branches, which kept everything cool. Eventually, I spotted a crowd gathered near the tree's base, and decided to check it out. Landing on the ground, I sent Chariot away and found someone to talk to. a young-looking nume with a mix of brown and blue feathers, and less than a head's height tall. "Excuse me, what's going on? Why are so many people gathered around?" "It is the..." She turned to look at me, then stopped talking and looked up to meet my gaze. "Restoration Festival." The glitter she had before suddenly dimmed, as she spoke those last two words just barely louder than a whisper. "Oh, a festival? Can anyone join?" I asked, kneeling down to get a little closer to her size so as not to freak her out so much. She nodded without saying a word. Can you tell me a bit about it?" "It is to celebrate the Yggdrasil tree and everything it..." "Are you someone's familiar?" she asked. "Yeah." "You can talk?" "Yeah." "You good?" I asked. "Yeah." "You were saying about the tree?" "What? Oh, yes, the Yggdrasil tree. The festival is to celebrate it and its restorative magic that saved the country." She told me a story about how the dragons made the tree before they disappeared, to restore the country back to what it was before the Chaos Dragon's rampage. It has slowly made the country's soil fertile again, and its sap could cure sickness. The festival is held every year now, and had been since the city was founded. It was also the only day that the noble district was open to the public, which meant that the citizens could buy things that the nobles used, like meat, jewelry, fabrics, and other things. After she finished explaining, I thanked her and went inside the festival myself. Everyone was flying all around, shouting to advertise their products and generally having a good time. I walked around until I caught the smell of something cooking, and followed my nose to a nume perched on a stone, cooking meat using a fire spell. I gave him one of the gold coins I had, and he gave me a slab of flame-broiled meat. Taste-wise, it was bland and gamey, but I was starving, and had eaten more fruit and vegetables in the last 4 or 5 months than I even wanted to think about. Walking around with my meat slab, suspended with magic because I didn't want to hold it with my hand, I found another nume who was selling jewelry. There were different kinds, like things that hung from wings, necks, or even around a nume's clawed feet, but none of it would fit me. Instead, I brought some fabric to use as a blanket. As I paid, this time with mana and a dowager the vendor had, I noticed a nume in the distance was watching me. Deciding that it was probably just because I looked strange to them, I ignored it and went about my day. Until I saw the same nume again, I think, still watching me a while later. Honestly, I could have been wrong. I still have trouble telling them apart sometimes. "Huh, so that's what they meant when they said closely monitored," I said, finishing off the last of the meat slab.